Let's talk weather. Hi there, Carson Meredith with you on this Sunday night. It's 7:16. It is September 21st. It's the last day of summer. I'm very excited about that, and I think a lot of you are as well. How are you? Had a good day? Hopefully you have. How much rain did you get this morning? How much rain did you get this afternoon? We've had a few thunderstorms rolling through today, as expected, but things are, at least for now, winding down. And that's going to be the trend this week. We get these bursts of heavy rain and storms. Then we get a break. Then we get more heavy rainstorms. Then we get a break. You get the idea. And that is our discussion this evening. We'll give you an updated look on where the work week stands when it comes to the highest rain chances and how much and things like that. And we'll look ahead to some cooler temperatures too. But we'll start off with this. One day until the autumnal equinox. That is tomorrow afternoon at 2:19. That is the official start of fall. As I said last night when we were in the 90s yesterday, I am becoming fairly confident that we are done with the 90s for the year. Never say never. October always likes to surprise us, but I think most, if not all, of the 90s are gone for the year. And as far as our temperature trend this upcoming week, it is going to feel more fall-like, really just more typical for late September. Here is radar, and there's really, excuse me, there's not much left to talk about. We'll zoom in on Louisville first, because I know as you can, well, let me go full screen here. You can see behind me, everybody's still partying out at Louder Than Life this evening. They had a weather delay early this morning with that morning round of storms that went through, but no issue since. There was a downpour that straddled the Ohio River right during our 6 o'clock newscast. You can see it there in the Knobs, moving into New Albany around 6:15, Jeffersonville, scooted up into Prospect and Goshen, and then it's just left with some lighter raindrops in LaGrange at this point. So thankfully that downpour missed the fairgrounds, and I think we'll be able to get the rest of the acts out there this evening in without any trouble. So all in all, the music festivals this year didn't have any big weather issues. We can be thankful for that. Elsewhere, we do still have a couple of showers out there. I'll go to Jackson County, Indiana. Hello, Seymour, Crothersville, Uniontown. One little shower moving on through, about to cross I-65. It looks like there might be a couple of raindrops in Franklin County. There you go. Near Peaks Mill and Stamping Ground, which is right on the Franklin County line. State capital, you guys down in Frankfort itself, not seeing anything. That's a little further out in the county. And further to the south, I believe there was one more shower. Yep, right over Adair County. Right over Columbia, really. So, yeah, that's all we have left is just a few showers. And today played out pretty much how we expected it, where you had a morning round of storms roll through. We get a break in the early afternoon. The sun tries to come out, heats us up into the 80s. And then we would have these scatter storms move through in the afternoon. Some of them did have a little wind earlier today. We didn't have any warnings. But there were some reports on the Kentucky Mesonet, especially just outside of our area, with gusts around 25, 30, maybe even a 35-mile-an-hour gust as well. So that's pretty much all she wrote, at least for this evening. But if you did not get any rain today, do not worry. There will be plenty more opportunities to come this week. So let's go through the comments, see who's here tonight. Tim's here on YouTube. Noodlehead's here from Perryville on YouTube. Shonda's here. Weather Geek's here. There you go. A good Monty Python reference, Weather Geek. Good stuff. Good stuff. Storm Chaser Jason's here. Hello, hello. Crispy's here. Let's see. Tina's here in Campbellsville. You as well have a blessed evening. We're glad you're watching. Gary's watching in Pewee Valley. Rob's here. Yeah, we come on here every weekend evening. I usually try to do it around 7:15 to keep it consistent every Saturday and Sunday night. And obviously, you guys know Brian does his blog during the week. Angela, hello, down in Spencer County. Got some rain But for the most part, it was the Spencer County force field that was pushing all the rain away from Taylorsville, right? Again, if you didn't get any storms today, remember the chance was only around 40%. So it was a lower chance today, but tomorrow it goes up to a 60% chance. And then by Wednesday, it's a 70% chance. So odds are you are going to get rain at some point this week. The question is when and how many times you'll get rain this week. And those details still need to be ironed out just a bit. Let's see, Sean down in Taylorsville, speaking of Spencer County. Oh, you saw me at Publix off of Old Henry the other day. Yeah, I live in that part of town. You should have stopped me and said hi. I was probably in a zone, man. When I get to the grocery, I've got my list on my phone. I get my stuff and I get out. I don't like shopping. Even for necessities, I don't like shopping. But anytime you ever see me out and about, be it at Publix like Sean saw me or wherever, just stop by, say hello. I love talking to you guys. I'm a big fan of talking to people in person more than this online stuff. Guess I'm old school. Let's see. Kelly's here. Brandon, thank you for the rain. I'm ready for fall and winter. Yeah. Well, we were just the messengers on the rain, Brandon, but I appreciate the kind words nonetheless. More comments later. Let's get you outside again to the big party, the grand finale, I guess. The final night of Louder Than Life. It's packed again. Not as hot today. I heard from a lot of people that said that turf that they put on the parking lot out there with the new setup this year made it actually kind of worse when you're talking about the heat yesterday. Thankfully, it's been a little more comfortable today, even if it has been a humid day. 79 is our current temperature. We got up to 80. It was either 83, maybe 84 late this afternoon, like 5:30 or something like that, which is closer to where we should be this time of year. You can tell where the rain-cooled air is, especially in our far western counties, 70 in Paoli, 70 in Litchfield, 72 in Hardinsburg and Tell City. Further east, where there hasn't been quite as much rain today, so you guys in Taylorsville, Madison, LaGrange, Shelbyville, we still got mid to upper 70s. And, of course, the Louisville heat island is in full effect here at 79. Overnight tonight, these downpours are obviously fading away. They have pretty much faded away. However, as we get closer to sunrise Monday morning, our next wave of rain moves in. This will be a much more expansive rain shield that moves in. And the timing is such to where it may cause problems for the morning commute. And I say may because the slightest little adjustment, be it 1 hour forward or 1 hour backward, will decide how the morning commute is going to shape up. But just know that for most of the night tonight, we only have a small rain chance, like 20%, but it goes up to 40% as we get closer to sunrise tomorrow morning. You see what I'm talking about here as we go hour by hour. 4 a.m., it's about 20%. Then we get to 6 a.m. Tawana will likely be tracking rain on radar on sunrise in the morning. And as we go later into the morning, that rain shield just keeps pushing eastward and expanding a little bit. And then as the rain coverage drops Monday afternoon, you see where it goes down to 40% late tomorrow afternoon into the evening. That's where we focus more on those scattered storms that may, once again, have some brief gusty winds with them. And then you see late tomorrow night, those storm chances go back up to 60%. So it's just kind of as these individual disturbances push through wave country, that's going to push up or increase that rain coverage during certain periods. It's not going to rain constantly, but there will be times where there is more rain than not. So here's Futurecast for tomorrow. This is the HRRR model once again. Same one I showed you guys last night. Here's 7 a.m. Now, as I mentioned, the slightest difference, 1 hour or the other, will decide if we have wet roads for the morning commute here in Louisville. It's going to be a close call. You see the first of the showers maybe out near Corden and maybe down towards E-Town and Shepherdsville around 7 a.m. And that would be pushing east and northeast. So that could give us some wet roads Monday morning here in the city. So just to be on the safe side, I would recommend an extra 5 or 10 minutes getting to work in the morning. If it's not raining and your commute's fine, you don't have to worry about the boss yelling at you for being late, right? You don't have to worry about the principal yelling at you for dropping your kid off late, right? This is noon tomorrow. You see what I'm talking about, where that rain shield becomes a bit more expansive. We have a few pockets of heavier downpours in the mix, perhaps a few storms as well by lunchtime tomorrow. But later into the afternoon, that rain shield kind of dissipates a bit. And as a result, that opens the door for more of these scattered storms to develop, which are heavier and could pack a bit of a punch. Just like today, where we had some gusty storms, we could have the same thing again tomorrow. It's a very similar setup tomorrow compared to what we had today. It's just we've got more moisture to work with tomorrow, and that's why the rain chances are higher. And then you notice we get into Monday night, we just kind of keep seeing these continued scattered storms around through the night, tomorrow night. Here's the severe risk for tomorrow in particular. It's very similar to what we had today. It's a marginal risk. That's a level 1. So it's the lowest severe risk you can possibly have. But as we go into the afternoon, we start to warm things up, or at least attempt to. That's where we might have 1 or 2 gusty storms. Shouldn't be a major problem, but it is something we'll keep an eye on throughout the day on Monday. All right, back to the comments real quick. Joseph's here. No rain in Bardstown. Was the forecast wrong? No, it wasn't wrong. Remember, it was only a 40% chance, which means more of you guys were going to stay dry today than see rain. It just so happened that for Bardstown, there wasn't any rain today. But again, if you didn't see rain today, you will see some this week. I can take that to the bank. Let's see. Kelly up in North Vernon didn't see any rain, maybe a little wind. That's probably from some of those storms that looks like Wavy's alerting us about a crash. Where is this? It's on 264. So keep that in mind if you're out and about watching us. There you can see it on social media. But yeah, you might have had a little gust of wind from storms that were kind of collapsing earlier this evening. So that happens a lot where these storms weaken quick. You get that gust of wind, but you never see any rain. That happens a lot from May until September, basically. Crispy, I know the SPC won't release the next outlook until 9, but is there any severe risk overnight? Not really. No. Now, if we get towards sunrise tomorrow and that rain shield's moving in, there might be some thunder, but I don't see anything severe at this point for overnight tonight. Jay says, hey, how are you? Doing good? Doing good. Hope you're doing well as well. Debbie's watching up in Medora. Appreciate you. Paula's watching my old stomping grounds of Bowling Green. I miss Bowling Green. Gosh, I miss it. Good people down there and a great school, but I'm biased. Looking forward to being down there later this fall. Let's see. Ryan's got a good question. What caused those showers that were moving through, or those showers and storms a little while ago, what caused them to diminish as they moved towards 65? Well, remember, the I-65 corridor had all the rain and storms this morning. So that kind of reset the atmosphere. It limited the storm fuel for this afternoon. So as those storms moved into that environment that had already been affected by rain today, they couldn't hold on. And that's why they weakened pretty quickly. As far as why the storms this morning faded as they moved in, that was a timing thing. There wasn't as much storm fuel or instability in the morning because it's a little cooler. Good question. Adam's here. How about those Hoosiers? I'm not a Hoosiers guy, but man, they looked good last night. Good game. DJ King watching up in North Vernon. Kathy's here. Let's see. Crystal's here. Kenneth is here. And boo, Carson's wearing a suit tonight. Yeah, no, we had our newscast at 6 this evening, so I couldn't go casual tonight. So yeah, soon enough I'll be back in the quarter zip again. All right, so let's talk about Tuesday now. Monday night into Tuesday, because we mentioned we've got one wave of soaking rain late tomorrow morning into the early afternoon. Later in the afternoon tomorrow, we've got more scattered storms, but they could be strong. Tomorrow night, we're going to have more of a soaking rain again. So it's just up and down with the rain coverage, right? We're going to be on the upside of that rain coverage late tomorrow night while you guys are sleeping, especially across Kentucky. And the reason why is because this first system that gave us the storms today, it's going to be slowly exiting wave country tomorrow night into early Tuesday. So this is kind of the last push of this first system that we have overnight tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. So higher rain chances tomorrow night into early Tuesday will be across our Kentucky counties. A few thunderstorms certainly possible. Not too worried about severe at this point. And, as far as the flooding concerns, I know some of you guys might be thinking that. A couple of things working in our favor. One, the ground is dry. It's not bone dry like we talked about last night, but it's dry enough to where it can absorb most of this rain fairly quickly. So that'll work in our favor. And all of this rain is spread out over 4, maybe 5 days, which also works in our favor. And we'll get breaks in between from time to time. The main issue tomorrow night, or really any time it rains this week, is going to be these heavier downpours causing ponding on the roads because the drain systems just can't keep up. So if you're going to be out, maybe working third shift tomorrow night, that's just something to keep in mind, especially in Kentucky. Tuesday morning, not quite as wet as tomorrow morning, but still dealing with a couple of downpours here or there. But I think a lot of the day Tuesday's dry, or at least there will be more dry time Tuesday than rainy time on Tuesday. So it's about a 40% chance early Tuesday morning. And then into the afternoon, it goes to maybe a 20% chance because we'll be in between systems on Tuesday. One exiting while we wait on the second one to move in. When does that second one move in? I'm glad you asked. How about Wednesday? This is still going to be a low pressure, an upper level low that will eventually develop into a surface low pressure right on top of us. And for us, that means another soaking rain. I'm teetering on saying Wednesday is going to be a washout. I'm not ready to say that totally yet, but it's getting close because this low is right over us, and it's just going to have tons of moisture with it. And it's going to give us widespread rain and a few storms all day Wednesday, morning, afternoon, and evening. Now, there's a big change today with where this low goes and how fast it goes. The GFS caught onto this yesterday, and now the Euro's on board. The Euro yesterday had this low in the Ozarks, southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, and then it would kind of track it east, right across Kentucky, and then it would start to go northeast by Friday. Well, today, similar starting spot in the Ozarks, but notice how it's much further north and east as we get into Wednesday night. That would allow for an escape route, if you will, for this low to get out of here faster and move further north and east, potentially as early as Thursday, which would be good because that would give us a little bit of a drier forecast towards the end of the week and into the next weekend. Having said that, Notice on Thursday that low, the center of it is still up near Detroit and Cleveland. And because of that, we'll be on the backside of the low, which means we could still have some showers moving in from the Great Lakes. So I'm not wiping out the rain chances for Thursday or Friday yet at all, but I have dropped them a little bit. I don't think we're going to have quite as much consistent, heavier rain on Thursday. Most of the heavy stuff is going to be Wednesday. So the low's still close enough by to give us showers on Thursday, maybe into Friday. Maybe into Friday as well, as you see here on Futurecast. But I'm a little more optimistic that Friday into next weekend is trending drier, which is very good. You'll see that here on the 10-day. There you go. One half does not look good. One half looks okay, right? On the 10-day. So we've got a pretty active stretch ahead now through Thursday, possibly Friday. We'll wait and see about Friday. It's kind of up in the air. The highest rain chances will be tomorrow morning, late tomorrow night, and all day Wednesday. Those are when the rain chances are at their highest. But in between those peaks, there could still be some scattered storms to dodge now through at least Thursday, possibly Friday. Temperature-wise, again, we're cooling back down to where we should be this time of year. Our average high for today is 81. We'll be close to that Monday and Tuesday. And then by the end of the week into the following week, we're going to hover in the upper 70s to near 80. Not bad at all. Not bad at all for late September, heading into early October. And there are still hints, by the way, that the first full week of October, so like October 5th and 6th, it could get even cooler. Especially those overnight lows could get cooler by then. That's just outside the 10-day. So it's definitely a 50-50 10-day. Wet start, but I like where things are heading for next weekend and the following week. It looks good for now. Let's hope that trend holds. So there's that, gang. What else you got for me tonight? We'll wrap it up. Hello from Shelbyville, Jeannie. Appreciate you watching in. Nathan's here on YouTube. Hello. Sean says sunset alert. Yeah, it's a nice sunset. The clouds are just thin enough, and they're at the right height. You're going to get a really nice sunset here over the next 15 minutes. So, yeah, go get some good photos of it. Let's see. Lorene, hello. All of this seems unreal since we haven't had any rain for so long. Yeah. Truly, when it rains, it pours. It seems like we go, well, I'd say right around a month without much of anything. And now all of a sudden, here we got 4 or 5 days in a row of showers and storms. But we'll take it. Hey, Reagan, how are you? Good to see you tonight. Appreciate you stopping by. Adam, what's the result of the low moving right over us as opposed to being southeast of it? The big difference when it comes to that location would be storms and potential severe storms. Let me go back to that map. Actually, I can just pop it up right here. Save me the trouble. So if the low goes right on top of you, most of the time, you're just going to get a cold, relatively speaking, a cold, damp, dreary, wet, nasty day. But if the low is a little further north, if it's a little further north, like let's say the low is right here, closer to Chicago, you hear Brian talk about this a lot, especially in the winter. Low tracks further north towards Chicago. That might mean more of a mixed precip, depending on what the temperature profile is, things of that nature. But in this instance, if the low pressure is further north as it moves by us, you can get an open door of warmer, moist air that could give us more storms, some of which, depending on the strength of the system, could be severe. I don't see that being a major concern for Wednesday, but I do think there will be more storms now in general because that low looks like it's going to track a little tiny bit further to the north of us, or at least make that pivot to the north a little faster than expected. So that's the main thing when it comes to the position of a low is if you're southeast of the low, you've got a better chance to see storms, some of which could be severe depending on other factors. Whereas if that low is right on top of you, you're mainly just dealing with a yucky, wet, rainy day most of the time. Good question. Good question, Adam. Oh, Gary. When will the dreaded jagged blue cold front line move through, ending summer, giving it that knockout punch? A somber event indeed. It looks, Gary, like around that first full week of October, that chance grows. The models are still struggling with that potential. It looked like it was a pretty sure bet a few days ago. Now it's kind of iffy. But I do think around that first full week of October, so I'm talking like the 5th and 6th, the week of the 5th and 6th, we may have a front in here that might stamp out summer for good. But even then, I mean, you look at the 10-day, it's not hot at all. It's actually, temperature-wise, it's pretty comfortable. You don't like the rain out the front of the 10-day, but the temps won't be too bad. Kenneth says at least the rain will help our fall colors. That's very true. But, the problem is if the rain gets too heavy, a lot of these leaves that are stressed because of the heat, they're going to fall off. I saw tons of leaves driving back to work this afternoon that were already falling off the trees because they were drying up so quick and the wind just knocked them right off. So hopefully the leaves can hang on. Let's see. Jeremy, any Gulf moisture in the near future? Not a ton at this point. I will say a lot of the models have backed off, at least for now. A lot of models have backed off the idea of a tropical system developing in the Gulf in the next week or two. We'll see if that trend holds. Again, that's been going back and forth for a while. But right now, a lot of the action has been in the Atlantic. We've got a Gabrielle. Forgive me, I didn't put the tropical maps in here tonight. I apologize. We got Hurricane Gabrielle now. And there are a couple other areas of interest that the Hurricane Center is watching. None of them look to be threats to the U.S. right now, but we'll eventually... I think the Gulf will get busy again sometime in October. I do. And that would also obviously affect what kind of moisture we might have as we head into October. As we all saw with Hurricane Helene last September, brought all that rain here as it moved inland. Let's see. Adam, yep, you bet. We appreciate the kind words as always. Let's get that drought out of here. Yeah, we're trying. I think we'll have some big improvements this week. I do. Will it be enough to kill it? I'm not sure, but we should have big improvements, if nothing else, with that drought, which is good. Any last minute thoughts, guys? Last call for comments, questions, thoughts, concerns, critiques. You guys know it's Sunday night. It's fall. That means we've got Sunday Night Football on Wave. The Chiefs and the Giants tonight. Will the future Mrs. Kelsey be at the game tonight? We'll see. The game's in New York, so you got to think she will be. But anyway, we will see you guys on Wave News after Sunday Night Football tonight. So if you're still up, we invite you to tune in, get another check of the forecast for tomorrow morning because it looks wet. If not, no worries. Sleep well. Have a great Monday. Don't forget the rain gear. And Brian will be here tomorrow with another probably Storm Talk tomorrow, if I had to guess. So we got a little bit of an active week ahead. Sean says, will the Chiefs finally win a game? We'll see. We'll see. 0-2 against 0-2 tonight with those two teams. So it'll be interesting. All right, guys, that's going to do it for now. Appreciate y'all tuning in on the weekends as always. The rest of the crew will be here through the week. And I will see you guys. Actually, I'll be on Sunrise Friday morning. So if you want to wake up early Friday, you'll get a special guest appearance from me. I will talk to you guys then. Take care.